Hey guys, it's the plant doctor here. What we're doing today is we're going to be installing annuals in and around this sidewalk right here. So today is April the 10th. It is Masters Sunday. I've got on a little different hat today. Usually I have on a Snead State hat, but today I'm wearing the Masters hat in honor of the Masters. We had a light frost here in North Alabama last night, but that should be our last frost of the season. Notice I said should. I looked at the 10-day forecast. That gets me out to about April the 20th or so, and there's no other sign of some really cold weather coming in. So I'm going to start putting in some annuals in some places. I'm not going to put out so many right now that I can't cover them with a bed sheet if I need to. So if we get a really late cold snap like that first week in May, it's not unheard of. It's rare, but it can happen. I can throw out some bed sheets real quick and hopefully protect those annuals. What we're going to be planting today are coleus, okay? So I'm going to go over how I bed prep for my annuals. I'll show you how we install these coleus as well. So let's get started. So this is an area here where traditionally I've put summer annuals down in the past. So what I do, I put out my summer annuals, and then once the frost gets them, usually for me that's late October, early November, I'll just pine straw all over it. So this is just been covered in pine straw for 4, 5, 6 months now. So the first thing I want to do is rake some of this back. Okay, so I'm just going to take my rake here. I'm going to rake some of this back, expose the bed that I put in last year, okay? So I've actually had this bed for a while. I'm just going to rake some of this back, and after I have it raked back, I'm going to do like a half moon shape here. And what I'm going to be putting down for my bedding material is Miracle-Gro potting mix. Okay, you can buy this stuff at Lowe's or Home Depot. I'll do my best to put a link for this down in the product description. You can have it delivered straight from Amazon to your front door, and if you do that, we get a very, very small percentage of the sale, so thank you. So I'm going to take this out, and if you've never put down potting mix before for your annuals, you want to get it to a depth of 3 to 4 inches. What I'm doing here, I've done this for several years now, so there's already some established material in here, but it does break down over time. I'm just more or less top dressing the area that I'm going to plant my annual. So if it's your first time, put down a good 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches of product. If you're doing the same bedding area you've done traditionally and you've put potting mix in there in the past, just top dress it. So we're just going to top dress this. So after I have my potting mix down in the area that I want to have it in, the next thing I'm going to do is top dress my potting mix with whatever amendment that I want to use, or whatever mulch I want to use. In this particular situation, what I'm going to use is amendment grade pine bark nuggets. It's ground up really fine. You can also use pine bark mini nuggets. I would not recommend the big nuggets, mainly because there's a couple of reasons here. One has to do with the amount of heat that they can hold in and water retention in terms of annuals. You can use them, but the mini nuggets, the finer textured stuff, the better for the annuals. If you're planting on a slope or you've got a downspout right in front of your annual bed, one thing that I would recommend is this: do not use any type of pine bark product at all, because it floats, and if you've got flowing water like going down a slope or right off of a drain, all your mulch is going to end up in your yard. Okay, so if you're in that situation, just put pine straw back over the top of it and then plant your annuals through the pine straw. But we're going to be using amendment grade pine bark mulch here because it's flat ground and I don't have a drain that's draining right into this. Now that I have my potting mix down, I have the mulch that I want to use down on top of it, I'm going to put down a slow release fertilizer. So I'll put down a similar product, a link down in the description here, but this is a 25-5-10 fertilizer. So 25% nitrogen, 5% phosphorus, 10% potassium fertilizer, and it is a 90-day release. And it also has, I think, 2% iron in it as well. So coleus, we're not growing coleus for the flowers, we're growing it for the foliage. That's the ornamental part of coleus. So I want to push vegetative growth. So I've got a higher amount of nitrogen in here, and the iron only enhances the color. So that's the reason I'm using this particular fertilizer product for my coleus. If I was growing something like marigolds or petunias or something where we're after flowers more than vegetation, I would probably use a little more even balanced fertilizer, something like a 20-20-20, because that phosphorus is only going to help those flowers bloom out that much more. So all I'm doing, I'm just taking a couple of handfuls here, and I'm just going to spread it out evenly over the top of my mulch. So this area here is probably 50 square feet, give or take, and I'm going to put about 5 handfuls spread evenly over this area. The next thing I want to do here is lay out my coleus. So I'm going to put these coleus on 1 foot centers, and all that means is this. So I'm going to put a coleus here. I'm going to measure about 1 foot. I'm just going to use my foot right here. And that's where the next one will go. And then I'm going to go another foot. And that's where the next one will go. This particular coleus, it's going to get about 24 inches tall and about 18 inches in width. So here in a couple of weeks, I know it's going to look sparse now, but I'm going to go over the fertilizer, the nutrition regimen with you here in a minute and show you how we're going to push the growth on this coleus. Before we start our cleanup process here and you see the finished product of what it's initially going to look like, I want to talk about our nutritional program moving forward, okay? So I'm going to go over these plants here with a gallon of humic acid, and here again I'll try to put a link in the product, or a product link down in the description below. This has no nutritional value to it. So why are we putting it out? What it does for us is this. It increases the cation exchange capacity of the soil. So I'm going to try not to get too much into soil chemistry here, but the fertilizers that we put down is going to make it more readily available to the plant. A lot of times when we put down fertilizers, especially if our pH is off, those nutrients bind to the soil and the plants can't get them into the root system. This is going to help the plants get those nutrients into the root system. So what I'm going to do for the entire growing season is this. Every Monday, I'll come out and put down 1 or 2 products. Let's just say on odd Mondays, so like the 1st and the 15th, for example, I'm going to put down humic acid. On the even Mondays, All right, so that second and fourth Monday of the month, I'm gonna come back over the top with liquid Miracle Grow fertilizer. This is a product you put in, you've seen it before. You put the nozzle, it's got the holder, the Miracle Grow holder on the bottom of it, and you just water with the Miracle Grow wand, and that's what we're going to do, okay? And the results will be fantastic. So here again, the first and third Mondays of the month, we're putting out the humic acid, and then the second and fourth Mondays of the month, we're going to put down the liquid feed. And on top of the liquid feed, we've got our slow release, our 90-day slow release in here working as well. So these plants are going to have plenty of nutrients. So I'm just going to take this and just very lightly, I may not even use the whole gallon. I'm just going to go over these plants a little bit. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. So this is what it looks like when we're finished. I've cleaned it up a little bit. I'm gonna go back through. I swept some pine straw off the concrete into the bed. I'll go through and pick that out. But nice little half moon shaped bed. Here in a month, what we're gonna see is that all these coleus, you're not even gonna see the mulch. It's just gonna be a mass of color they'll grow in. So I'm really excited about this, and we'll track the progress throughout the summer with our monthly maintenance videos. We'll make sure to get some footage of this as well.